Hey guys, welcome to Waypoint X. My name is Judd, and for today's video we're going to show you how to add bump stops to your Jeep with hockey pucks. So, stay tuned. We're talking about adding bump stops today, or making your own bump stops if you don't have any. So we had a 2.5 inch lift kit rock crawler that we put on our Jeep. It was great. We had the TerraFlex bump stops that we added to our kit when we ordered it, and when we went to the 3.5 inch lift kit, those bump stops were a little short. So we decided we weren't going to buy new ones. We were going to take the cheaper alternative and make our own. So what we've got here is some hockey pucks. You can get them in a batch of 30 or more, or you can get them in a batch of 4, which we just got 4 because we only needed 2. So we're going to add on top of the pre-existing bump stops that we already have. So we just got some hockey pucks here. You can go ahead and make your entire bump stop out of hockey pucks, and we will show you how to do that. But without further ado, here we go. So you might not be able to see it on the camera, but there are some slice marks inside of our tire from the inner fender right here, this the sheet metal of this front quarter panel right here. You can see the paint's already kind of come off, but you can see there's some slices through the tire. When we did flex, it got into the tire, it didn't puncture the tire. The tire's good to our knowledge, it hasn't lost any air, but you do see these cut up marks, and we want to prevent that. So we're going to add those bump stops and prevent that tire from getting up into the Jeep. So the tools that you're going to need today, guys, are obviously your hockey pucks. You're going to need some safety glasses and maybe a mask, some clear RTV sealant. We have a punch just to kind of mark the center where we're going to be drilling. 2 assortment of files just in case. We have our measuring tape, and we also have our drill. Now the hole inside of our pre-existing bump stops is 1 inch. So we didn't have an inch drill bit, so we have a 1/2 inch. So we had to kind of waller it out a little bit to get it to 1 inch. But if you're making your bump stops from scratch, you won't have to do this. It's just if you already have a pre-existing bump stop and you don't want to block the bolt that's already there holding that other pre-existing bump stop down, you might need to drill that out a little bit bigger. So guys, you can add multiple hockey pucks. You can build this from scratch. So you can make your own if you don't have any bump stops at all. And what you can do is you can add multiple ones on top of each other, and you can do a self-tapping bolt into your spring, where your spring base plate is. You can also put a washer on top and put a nut and bolt where it hold it. But you can make these as high as you want to, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 high. Just a cheap, simple way of putting in bump stops into your Jeep. You can also do this at the rear of your Jeep. You might have to shave down the sides depending on your Jeep and your model. But we're going to get started. We've already measured, this hockey puck is 3 inches across. Our hole that is already in our pre-existing bump stop is 1 inch. So we only have a 1/2 inch drill bit. If I was doing this again, I would do 1 inch, something a little bit bigger. But we had to just waller it out and file it out a little bit until we got the diameter that we wanted to inside. So what we're going to do is we're going to put it in the vise, nice and tight. We're going to put on a mask. We just don't want to be breathing in all those plastic rubber particles. Put our safety glasses on. We've already marked it. We did a punch right here. We punched the center of it just to mark it. And we're going to go and drill. So guys, we have drilled out the hole. We had to waller it out a little bit. So what we've done is we have just taken this file and kind of smoothed out all the edges, made it perfect circular on our hockey puck. We needed 1 inch diameter in the center for our pre-existing bump stop. So we have made that center hole like that. So what you can do if you're making these from scratch, you can have multiple hockey pucks. You can RTV seal all of them together or glue them however you would like, and then put a self-tapping bolt into your base plate like we said before. But if you already have pre-existing ones and you need to make them longer, this is just an easier way to do it instead of buying a brand new bump stop that's taller. So what we're going to do is we're going to add some just RTV sealant we got laying around the house, and put this together. And what we're going to do is we're just going to put it all the way around here, and then we're actually going to put it on top of our pre-existing bump stop, and that will give us another inch of bump stop, so that we won't be getting into the fender like we showed you earlier. It really will cut up your tire if you aren't careful. So we want to go ahead and add this before our next trail ride. Alright guys, so we're out here on the Jeep. Here's our pre-existing bump stop into our base plate. You can put a self-tapping bolt in there, or you can put a bolt and a nut right here onto the bottom of the base plate, depending on your application. So here's our TerraFlex bump stop. It's got that 1-inch hole in the middle of it. Here is our hockey puck that we have drilled out. What we're going to do is take some RTV sealant, and we're just going to apply it. So we have applied some RTV sealant, and we're going to slide it in there and try to not get the RTV sealant all over our coils. But we're going to slide it in there and push it on top. So make sure it sits in that hole. We're just going to push it down. We'll take a paper towel and wipe off the excess. But it looks good so far. That's going to add us an inch to our bump stop and prevent us from getting that tire up into the fender. So that's how you make a hockey puck into a bump stop. So if you're adding on to your pre-existing bump stop or making them from scratch, that's how you do it. So if you like this video, please comment below, subscribe, and go check us out on Facebook and Instagram. We really enjoyed showing you this trick that we have found out how to add bump stops. So we hope to see you out on the trail, and y'all have a great day.